A lot happened this weekend.
Including the Panthers not being good.
There was that.
The Panthers were not good on Sunday. Here's the ugly part about that game is now you have to hope that they were unprepared. You have to hope that somehow the coaching staff didn't get them ready to go. There was an X's and O's flaw. You have to hope that not running plays in the preseason or being vanilla, as they described it, made them unprepared to play. Why? Well, because there's two ways you win in football, right? X's and O's and Jimmys and Joes. That's the cliche. Well, Jimmys and Joes aren't fixable. Right, Jimmys and Joes, you have to go trade. You have to go pick guys up. You have to cut guys. That's much more difficult. X's and O's, you can fix that. So you have to hope after a game like that. By the way, the Falcons are no world beater. It's not. You didn't just go play the 85 Bears, and it's like, well, what are you going to do? You played the 2023 Falcons, who could not throw the ball for large portions of the game. Kyle Pitts did very little. Drake London did nothing. Their top 10 picks, their best pass catchers. And you could say, oh, well, Bijan is special, sure, but Tyler Algier had just as much success on the ground, so it wasn't just Bijan getting it done. You have to hope the coaches dropped the ball on preparing the team and they came in unready, because at least you could get ready by the second game or by the third game. You can get ready. You can fix that. You can adjust your game plan. You can look for flaws in play calling. Guess what you can't do? You can't get faster. You can't get bigger. You can't get stronger. You can't get better separation guys at wide receiver. You can't get better run stuffers or whatever you want to call it. The Falcons ran all over them on offense and bottled up the pass game when the Falcons defense was on the field. If the coaches didn't royally mess up the prep process, then the roster just isn't good enough. And that's a much bigger problem.
Yeah, it's not like you're getting a whole new team next week.
Yeah, I mean, you can trade a little, but football is different than say, baseball, right? Like, trading for someone midseason is more difficult. Baseball, I say the dugout could be stalls, right? You don't have to talk to people. You don't have to have chemistry. You walk up there for your at-bat, you hit. Unless you're like the two middle infielders or something. The right fielder and the third baseman, they don't even have to know each other's name. In football, you have to know the people around you. You have to know their name. Or you have to have chemistry. On defense, you better darn well trust that guy to cover who he's going to cover and know where he's going and know the calls you're making. Here's why I'm saying it better be coaches rather than roster. This staff decided to improve the most over the offseason the areas that I was most concerned with after watching the game. Let's look at the passing game. They drafted Bryce Young number 1 overall at the position that had been seen as holding back the Panthers for a long time, the quarterback position. They signed Adam Thielen. They signed Hayden Hurst. They signed DJ Chark, who was hurt but still. They drafted Jonathan Mingo in the second round. They signed Miles Sanders. All of these players are supposed to help the passing game. Chuba Hubbard can run between the tackles. They brought in Miles Sanders to be a complete back and help the passing game. Here's Frank Reich on the lack of explosive passing plays for the offense.
Felt like we called enough to get down the field. We just at the end of the day, really what you look at is the plus 20 plays. There's two categories of getting the ball deep. There's the plus 40 plays where you're throwing go balls on the outside and deep post routes. And then there's the chunk, those deep plays over the middle or on the sideline, those 20, 25-yard gainers. Obviously, we didn't have any of either of those, so that's not going to be acceptable. We'll have to do much better there.
I love that. Well, there's the 40+, there's the 20+, there's the 30+, there's the 40+ to the left hash, the 50+ to the right hash. No, we didn't have any of these. I'm just describing. If we did have one, I'm telling you how we would categorize it if we ever completed an explosive play in the passing game.
Could have one if Terrace Marshall Jr. actually kept running his routes, but hey, that's fine.
And that's part of it, right?
Yeah.
They had wide receivers running 20+ yards downfield. I'm not saying they were open, right? Either the receiver didn't get open, or they did get open and it was overthrown, or they did get open and the wide receiver shut it down for some reason. Or maybe you put together a roster without a ton of deep threats. Adam Thielen played 88% of the snaps. Adam Thielen, great guy. Seems to be a real team-first guy, veteran, leader.
Yeah.
He had 2 catches for 12 yards. He played 88% of the snaps.
And they ran 72 plays on offense. Do the math.
You look at what you brought in. Right, I guess DJ Chark was supposed to be the deep ball. He was hurt. But if you brought in DJ Chark without at least thinking there was a chance the guy was going to be hurt, then you haven't been paying attention the last 4 years. Right? If you want explosive plays, guess what you need? Explosive players. So you better hope that the play calling wasn't scheming up open players, because if the play calling was good, you just don't have the dogs. Frank Reich asked if there's a lack of team speed on the Panthers.
There's a lot of different ways to make plays. Certainly speed is one of those ways. You got a guy like Tyreek Hill, has 200 yards. I mean, he's just different, right? I mean, there's no team has speed like that. He's in a different category all by himself. Other than that, our guys have plenty of speed. I look at the way we run. I look at our receivers' times. We'll find ways to make plays down the field.
He almost did the same thing. Well, there's a lot of different ways to make plays downfield. There's speed. There's Tyreek speed. There's this speed. We didn't do any of them, but there are multiple categories in which we could have done it. But it's not just the offense. Defense. Let's look at what they added and how they acted this offseason. They added linebacker Kamu Grugier-Hill. Mm-hmm. Right? A lot of love this preseason. They drafted DJ Johnson in the 3rd round, traded up to do so. Didn't play a snap, by the way.
Yeah, and he was active, too.
Active, fully dressed, on the sideline. Coaches never said, you're in. Never said, hey, get in there. Not even a special teams play. Rookies wear little patches for their first game. Does he get to wear his again? Because that wasn't his first game. Brian Burns, Derek Brown. When the Panthers were talking to the Bears about trading up for the number 1 overall pick, the reports were they wanted one of 3 players: DJ Moore, Derek Brown, Brian Burns. And the Panthers responded with, well, Derek Brown and Brian Burns are off limits, so we better make this happen with DJ Moore. You protected your front 7 in trade talks. You added Justin Houston as one of your biggest during camp additions. And then you got run all over by 2 different backs for the Falcons. And Panthers, Justin Houston played 52% of the snaps. What was it, former 2nd-round pick? Gross Matos, 8%. The guy played 4 plays. They couldn't bottle up the Falcons with Kyle Pitts and Drake London doing nothing. The roster development becomes a concern if this doesn't turn around fast. Scott Fitterer either specifically chose to add players to fill holes that they weren't capable of filling in week 1, or the coaching staff had players that were capable of filling those holes and didn't have them ready to do so in week 1. Neither is good. One of them is fixable. That's picking the lesser of 2 evils after week 1. You're looking at the game and you're either saying this is a problem and it's not fixable, or this is a problem and it's fixable. And if it's not fixable, the reason why that's so harrowing, that's so terrifying, is because you don't even own your 1st-round pick. Mm-hmm. So if it gets ugly without the benefit. And the Bears will just be dancing.
Well, luckily it's only week 1.
Luckily. Well, again, it is fixable if it's that side of the problem.
And the thing to keep in mind, as critical as we are right now, 17 of those points did come off turnovers. That's the thing. And I think that's actually what's the frustrating part to Panthers fans, is that we actually saw them move the ball off the field. They controlled time of possession, have way more plays, 3 turnovers, 17 points off 3 turnovers.
But, I mean, look where the turnovers came from. Yeah. 2 of them from the number 1 overall pick, another from the highest paid free agent running back of the offseason.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I'm saying. These are the guys you brought in to be the sturdy points, right? To be the support beams supporting the rest. And that's where the turnovers came from. Like, if you're the defense, you had the opportunity to bail out those guys, right? If the offense turns the ball over in plus territory and you bow your neck and don't let them get into the end zone, then, hey, high five, right? You saved them. But if they put you in a bad situation, the defense gives it up, everybody's a loser, right? It's not like the offense can go like, oh, the defense should have protected us. It's not like the defense can say, hey, the offense shouldn't have put us in that situation. It's like that's football.